This is lesson 8-6, exponential functions. Let's discuss the meaning of an exponential function and what it is. An exponential function is any function where the independent variable, which we typically use as x, is an exponent. Standard form of an exponential function is y equals a times b to the x, where a and b are numbers. Three rules are in place for exponential functions. The first is that a cannot be equal to 0. The second, b has to be greater than 0. And the third, b cannot be equal to 1. Let's discuss linear versus exponential. Linear functions have three forms: slope-intercept form, point-slope form, and standard form. Exponential functions have one form: standard form. The table of values for linear functions have a common difference, meaning that your dependent values, usually they're y, go up and down consistently by the same number. Exponential functions have a common ratio. That means the dependent values go up or down by multiples of some number. Here's an example. Answer the question: are these tables linear or exponential? Examine them and find out. Pause the video at this point to give yourself a chance to do them on your own. The first table, the y values go from 3 to 9 to 27 to 81, and so on. They do not have a common difference, they have a common ratio. This is an exponential function. The second table has a common difference. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, and 11 each have 2 in between them. This is a linear function. When you evaluate exponential functions, the first step is to plug the value in for x. Second, you want at that point solve for y or f of x, whichever the problem uses. Here's some examples. In the first one, solve for y. In the second one, solve for f of x. Pause the video at this point to give yourself a chance to do so. Here are your answers. For y equals 5 to the power of x, we plug in 3 for x. 5 to the third power in evaluating it gives me 125. For the second one, plug in 2 for x. So f of 2 is equal to 3 times 4 to the raised to the power of 2. We need to do the exponent first. 4 squared is 16. Then 3 times 16 is 48. So f of 2 is equal to 48. Graphing exponential functions is very similar to graphing absolute value functions. The first step is you want to set up a 3-column table: x, the function, and y. Next, use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 as your domain, or x values. Third, fill in your chart. Fourth, plot the points on a set of axes. And lastly, draw a curved graph. Here's an example. Graph the function y equals 2 to the power of x. The table is set up for you. Pause the video at this point to give yourself a chance to do so. The first thing we need to do is fill in the chart. When filling in the chart, we fill in the middle with the mathematical work, and we fill in the right side, the y column, with the values. I then plot my points and draw a curve on the graph. Do the best you can with the curve. Obviously, you can't be using a ruler in this point. Make sure you put arrowheads on the end of both lines and that you label your line on the graph. If you're having any difficulties with this lesson, please make sure you consult your classroom teacher.